School of AI.
Welcome to the free teaser project, which we call it as Enterprise Knowledge and Research Copilot. Now, in this demo, you will see how a complete RAG application can search an organization's private documents and generate grounded answers with citations. We will bring together document ingestion, we'll do chunking, embedding, vector search, we'll also do conversational memory, metadata, permissions, and evaluation all in this one end-to-end project. Now watch how the system processes documents, then retrieves the right evidence and answers follow-up questions and avoids unsupported responses, which is very important in today's date. Now, if you fully understand this project and feel confident rebuilding it yourself, you may not need the full course. Otherwise, the course will break down every component step by step. So let's begin with the free preview project here. Let me share my screen. So here you go. So let me show you the project that we have. Now this project is available in the resources folder in here in this video. So you can download that. You can check out this project, and I'm going to not go line by line because this is what we will be covering in next 7 days, how to build a project something similar to this or in parts of this, and this is like a combination of everything that you will be learning in next 7 days. So this particular project that I have here, let's look at some of the main files. So app.py, this is the main Streamlit application. It provides like the chat, the documents, evaluation, analytics tabs inside here, which we'll be looking at in a minute, and I'll probably run this project. We also have another one that is important is services.py. This initializes and connects the database. It creates a Olama client, vector store, ingestion, retrieval, and RAG services all are happening through this services.py file. We also have the config file, which is important, which loads the environment variables and defines paths, model names, chunk sizes, retrieval settings, and timeouts right in this particular file. We also have the environment example file. This is the example configuration for Olama, ChromaDB, chunking, and retrieval. I'm using Llama 3.1 latest and Nomic embed text for embedding part. We also have the requirements.txt file. These are the different Python packages or dependencies required to run the application. And we have the README MD, which we'll be following in a second, which talks about the project of what it does, what does it project support. And as I mentioned, this is just a teaching project and a strong local prototype. So it should not be used for production, but it gives you the guidelines on how to use it. We can look at some other files here. We also have loaders.py here. This reads the PDF, text, markdown, and CSV files. PDF text is extracted page by page using PyMu-PDF. Those are the libraries that I use here, and you can go through this code. Next, we also have the text utils file. This cleans the text, calculates the file hashes, creates stable document keys, tokenizes text, and normalizes the score. So you can check out this file too. Another important file is chunking.py. Now this one splits the extracted pages into overlapping page-aware text chunks. That's what this does, which is important part about chunking, and especially used in RAG. We also have, before that, let's talk about ingestion.py. This manages the document uploads, chunk creation, Olama embeddings. It also does chroma indexing. It does the document versions and duplicate detection right inside this particular code file. You can check this code file out. And we also have the vector store.py, and this creates and manages the persistent ChromaDB collection. Now the injection process supports incremental indexing. Now when the same file is uploaded again, what it will do is its SHA-256 hash is checked, an identical version is skipped, and a changed version receives a new version number. So we'll probably see that while we are running through this project. We also have, let's look at some retrieval and answer generation files that I've created here. First one is retrieval.py. This, what it does, it combines chroma semantic search with BM25 keyword search and lexical overlap scoring. To support that, we have rag.py. This produces the grounded answers from retrieved evidence, adds citations, calculates confidence, and stores chat history and creates audit records. We also have, to support that Olama client, this communicates with the Olama's embedding and chat APIs and rewrites conversational flow follow-up questions. And then we have security.py. This implements the simulated role-based and department-based document permission. Now the retrieval score is approximately 65% vector similarity and 35% BM25 keyword score, and a small addition lexical overlap adjustment. Next, let's look at some of the data and operational files. For that, I have created a db.py. Now, this is all in a single folder just for this demo, so we have everything in here. But usually, I would put them in these different folders that I'm going through right now. Like this one, these are the data and operational files that I'm looking for. And this specifically, this db.py creates and manages the SQLite database inside it. You can check out this file too. We next have the evaluation.py. This measures the retrieval and answer quality. Supporting to that, we also have seed.py to initially, so is this gone? Seed demo.py. This loads the 5 demonstration documents and 4 benchmark questions that we have hard coded inside it, and the documents are available inside the sample data folder. Data is empty, which will be as and when we run the project, we'll see that, and tests are the test. But other than this, for data and operational, we also have the check setup, which will be running soon. This verifies the Python dependencies and checks whether Ollama is running. So it's always a good thing to have to check your code files. And as I mentioned, we have some sample documents here. We have HR remote work policy. This one is hybrid work eligibility, 3-day remote work limit, approvals, and then 6-month reviews. It has all the HR related questions here. We have finance expense policy here, which talks about like the client meals, how much is restricted, how much is not restricted. So we'll ask this question too. We have IT analytics access, which talks about analytics platform access, request manager approvals, production data access, temporary access, and account reviews. And we have other 2 operations and the research AI files here, which are based on operations and again research, as the name suggests. So that's what we have here. And again, I've mentioned about tests, so we have some test files here. The test chunking, this one, what it does is this test the overlapping chunk creation. We have test security, this test employee, specialist, and administrator permissions. And then we have conf test.py. This, as the name says, adds the project directory to the Python import path for testing. Now the test here that we have covers basic chunking and security behavior, but there's no full integration test for Ollama, ChromaDB, ingestion, or the complete RAG workflow. I've left that out, but you can easily build those out depending on your requirements. So let's go ahead and look at readme.md. This is the main file where you can start off from. Also create a terminal so we can run our application over here. My Ollama server is already running, so I don't have to run it. But if your Ollama server is not running, you can always say Ollama serve and run the Ollama server. So this here in the top, you can read about what does the project support, everything that I just mentioned based on the files. That's what it supports. The architecture is, as for the files and business sources, we have loaders, we have it goes to cleaning, to page aware chunks, to metadata through Ollama and SQLite document. We have user question, follow-up rewrite, ground prompt, and then chat history. This step by step, I've displayed everything here. So let's go ahead and look at a demo of what it does. So I have already pulled these, but if you want to pull these models, or depending on what models you want to use, you can pull them out. Since I've already done it, it takes like a few seconds to do that. Next, for the environment file, for the environment, let's create a virtual environment here using Python m-m vn and it creates a virtual environment for you. Now I'm running on Mac, so I can run this command where I can activate my virtual environment. If you have Windows, you can run this. Next step is to install pip and the dependencies that we have mentioned earlier. Again, if you don't understand anything right now at this point, don't worry about it. We are going to cover this in next 7 days. But if you understand that, that's good. You don't have to pretty much go through this course if you already know whatever I'm doing here, because end product is for you to understand this project and build a project something similar to this for your production environment. So my requirements or packages have been installed. Next, I'm going to go ahead and create my environment variable. It's always a good idea to create an environment variable depending on where you're running. So that's why this environment example is always provided in every project. So you can create your own environment and in environment variables. If you see, since it's copying my own files, it has my own preferences, but you can change your models and your different timeout options, collection, whatever name you want to give, you can change that here. So I'm going to go back here. And then our next step is, so I've done that. Again, if you're PowerShell, you copy, use this command. Next, I'm going to go ahead and check my setup. As I mentioned earlier, we have a check setup file. It looks at my all my Python dependencies. If all the modules are there, everything is perfect, and am I ready to go? Because it's better to find a problem here than to go ahead and run your project and then realize that, oh, you have something missing. So everything was good. Next, I'm going to go ahead seed the demonstration knowledge base. So based on whatever data I have, it's going to create the, if you see, there's ChromaDB created, there's uploads has all the different files that have been uploaded, and my config, my copilot.sqlite got created in this particular file. So in this particular command. Next, I'm going to go. So again, it talks about this index is 5 example documents, as I mentioned. It also adds benchmark questions, and running the seed script again is safe. It doesn't matter if you run it again and again, it will skip if the files already exist. So next, I'm going to go ahead and run the application. I'm going to use python-m streamlit run app, run that, or you can directly run streamlit run app.py. So the way I have set it up, that I have to run it as a module in my computer, but you can run either or. So I have my file here. Also, to give you an example of how this demonstration works, and if you want to do it yourself, I have the demonstration sequence here, so you don't have to remember these questions. I can ask some of the grounded questions like how many remote days are allowed. So I'm going to go ahead and ask a question here in the chat, run it, and it's going to go ahead and then find through the documents that I've uploaded through the chunks and through the vector database of how many, what was the question? How many remote days are allowed? And it will give me the exact source of where it found that inside S1 document. I'll say what is allowed, they give me the answer and the source, and the confidence is here 57%. Yeah, I can also say helpful or not helpful. Next, I can use another one. How do I request access to analytics platform? I run that, and depending on where it is, where the answer is, say I've selected all scope, which means I don't have to specify which I'm looking for. It will look through all the documents and give me the answer for how to access this platform, depending on where all that information is available. As you see, S1, S3, S2, multiple places things are available, so it's going to give me reference to that. Next, I'm going to say what expenses require manager approval. Now this looks like more of a manager question that an employee is asking, but it will go ahead and find it because my scope is open to all the different documents that are available. Similarly, which teams review vendors? I can ask that question and it will go ahead and give me answer based on that. But if I restrict my theme, so which is our, I think next, oh no, actually next one is test the conversation history. So let's try that first. I'm going to say, what is the remote work policy? Again, I'm going to start a new conversation. What is the remote work policy? It's going to give me the answer, and then I'll ask a follow-up question. So so we know that it knows the history. Does it include interns? So it found me the answer. And does it include interns? But I don't say what includes interns because I expect it to know remote work policy for interns. I'm going to run this. In the documents, I don't think we have any information about interns. So it's probably going to say like there is no info. Full-time employees who have completed these were eligible. Interns and contractors require return approval from HR. So there is option. So it tells me where exactly or how do they get that. What was the question? Remote work policy. Next one is how often is it reviewed? So that document or this information, how often is it reviewed by the HR to kind of stay up to date? The approval arrangement is reviewed every 6 months. It found that answer is this one. So it tells you where the answer is and it is reviewed every 6 months. So that's pretty cool. So it keeps on the chat history and remembers what you asked, and the follow-up questions are based on what you asked. It doesn't ask you like, oh, how often is it reviewed? What exactly do you mean by that, right? So that's pretty cool. Next thing is, let's talk about the test role-based access. So for example here, if I go ahead and say I'm a manager and start a new conversation and I'm a manager in operations, I'm going to say what expenses are allowed for client meals. So inside operations manager is asking this question. There's no information provided. But if I say that I am a manager in in finance, start a new and run this, it's going to probably find me an answer based on some information that is available. If you see here, means that a documented business. So depending on your role and where you are, it will probably let you do stuff. If you're an admin, you can do whatever you want in this particular case. Usually the role is not defined. It probably will be coming from your AD data, from your Active Directory data, and it will assign your role automatically. This is just for this project that I've done this, so you can test it out. Next thing is upload a version of the document. So we can always go here to document and upload documents. I can upload documents if I have available, or I can just say load included demonstration documents, and it will index those documents. Of course, these are already indexed, so it will tell you this exact version is already indexed, but I can rename it or change some data in there and then reindex that, and it will show me that it's been indexed. I can also go ahead and deactivate some of the existing documents that are available. I can then look at evaluation. So that was the next step, run the benchmark. So in here, based on these questions, I can run all the benchmark questions. Also, you can add another question here to benchmark based on the document that you have. And it will take, like, tell you precision, what is the recall score, what is the answer, citation, the groundedness, latency. So it will give you all these different benchmarks based on which it will tell you how good it is or how good this question can answer. And also shows me the recent evaluation runs here. So if I keep on running, it will keep show the history. I can also download that to CSV here. And then we have analytics. It also shows analytics here, audit events, 13 different audit events depending on whatever I've done here, like as an employee, as a manager, as an admin. So it keeps a track of all those events over here. So you can check that as your next inspect operations. That's what you can look for in this particular project. So I hope you were able to follow along. Now again, if you understood what you did and what we did here, and you can implement this, you think, then you don't have to enroll in our course, because that's what we cover in next 7 days. Every single thing that we did here, we're going to cover in the next 7 days. But if you want to learn more about it, if you got lost somewhere and want to learn how we did this entire project, go through the 7 days, and at the end of 7 days you'll be able to understand whatever we did in this particular project. So I hope to see you there, or if you have already known, I hope to see some messages from you. So if you have any questions, or for us, me and Arjun will always available to answer your questions about the project. So see you in the project.